Hello everyone, Twin Dad here, and welcome to Magium, or Magium, or Magium, or something. I'm going to call it Magium, because that's what I'm going to say. Anyway, it's a game that I've heard good things about. It's for, I think, only for Android, but I found it online. I couldn't download the app on my computer because I'm not that intelligent, but I'm going to play it just on the online. Go on Google, type in magium.com, blah blah blah, and you can pop this up. But I heard that it's pretty good, and I actually really like these games because I love reading. Not so much books, I like reading on computer devices, but that's alright. Anyway, let's get into it and see where it takes us. I hope it's going to be very good. They say there's a very fine line between bravery and stupidity. As I stand here in the middle of the forest, gazing at all the explosions far in the distance, I realize I may have well crossed that line to a point of no return. My name is Barry. I am 28 years old, and I could quite accurately be described as your everyday, ordinary guy. I have no talents, no particular skills, and no academic background. The only thing that defines me is my lifelong obsession to become a mage. I can relate to that. It is what I've wished for ever since I was 5 years old. It has been my driving passion throughout my life, as I've constantly amassed knowledge about mages and traveled the world in hopes of finding a way to make my dreams come true. After endless years of searching through dusty tombs and weathered parchments, I have finally found a way to do it. The catch? I need to first win a tournament against the most powerful mages in the world. Sound crazy? That's probably because it is. Because it is far too late to go back now. The only way that's left for me is forward. As I stand here knowing that it's no longer possible to me to return to my normal life, I can't help but feel quite... It's going to be one of these games. Awesome. Excited, calm, afraid. Well, considering he's been waiting since he was 5 to be able to do something like this, I'm going to go with excited. Yeah, that wouldn't be... Calm wouldn't be the right... Yeah, excited. Excited about this whole thing. Maybe I really am completely out of my mind. I would have expected to feel at least a little bit scared about all this. Oh well. But instead of that, I get this constant tingling sensation that won't go away. The feeling that I am closer to my dream than ever before in my life. All the terrible dangers that await me seem distant to me. And all I can really think about now is at the end of the tournament, when I win this, I will finally become a mage. There's an explosion, maybe a few hundred feet from my location. The fights have already begun, and one of them is much closer to me than I would have hoped. There is no way I can get in a fight with any mages at this point. I need to avoid combat for as long as possible if I am to survive until the end. I head in the opposite direction from where I started to hear the explosions. I am heading towards the end of the forest. I hear voices. There are 2 mages talking in the clearing a few feet away from me. I hide behind a tree and take a quick glance toward the clearing. It seems the 2 mages have just finished fighting. One of them has an appearance of an ordinary thug. He's wearing a simple, stained white shirt, leather pants, and a belt full of throwing knives. His untrimmed black beard hides a wicked smile. Just by seeing the confidence in his eyes, I can clearly tell he is the victor of the skirmish. The other mage is wearing heavy armor, but his shield lies on the ground beside him. He is barely holding his sword anymore. Taking a close look at the mage in armor, I notice his head is bald. His skin is dark. He is likely in the mid-40s, and he has a scar on his forehead, shaped like an X. I've read a mage matching this exact description who went by the name of Darren. He is quite legendary, but would he lose so easily to such a common thug? The mage in the white shirt answers my question as he addresses the one in armor, while casually playing with one of his knives. The legendary mage, Darren, the savior of the eastern continent, the healer in armor. They say you've traveled the world, saving countless villages from destruction. That you've once fought 10 rock golems by yourself, only to defend a small child. I guess this goes to show you should never really trust legends, eh? I always knew all of those tales about mages as strong as giants were just codswallop. Okay. If all those legendary mages that joined this tournament are as weak as you, I'm going to win this by sundown. He starts laughing, but he stops suddenly. Wait, who's there? He says, as he turns towards me. I quickly pull my head back behind the tree and press my back against it, trying to breathe as silently as possible. I know you're there, coward. Show yourself, or I'll have one of my eyes find you. He said he already knew I was there, so hiding probably wouldn't do anything. And stay silent now, that probably wouldn't work. Show myself, or I see no reason to show myself to you. Well, considering he's going to kill you if you don't, I would think that you should show yourself. Let's try that. I breathe in deeply and try to appear as calm as possible. I step out of the forest and into the clearing, facing the mage with knives directly. Who are you calling a coward? I ask him. The mage pauses for a bit as he measures me up and down. A Stillwater, eh? He says, finally. He tried hard to keep his composure when asking this question, but the tremor of his voice betrayed him. He is afraid. His sudden change of attitude towards me is not completely unexpected. The existence of Stillwaters is one of the main reasons I've dared to dream that I might have a chance to win this tournament. Stillwaters are a very rare breed of mages. They are known to be incredibly powerful. One of them is said to have destroyed an entire city in an instant some 20 years ago, with only a flick of his fingers. The city of Ulmnar was said to have been one of the greatest cities on this continent, but it was wiped off the map just like that, in a single second. Such is the power of the Stillwaters. But what is even more interesting about these Stillwaters is that you can't differentiate them from normal humans. Normally, you can sense the magic flowing from every being. You don't need to be a mage to do it. By sensing their magical aura, you can tell how strong mages are before engaging them in a fight. Stillwaters, however, have the same aura as normal humans, and if you were to run into someone that seems to almost have no magic in the middle of what is essentially the greatest mage tournament of all history, what would you be more inclined to believe? That an average human was somehow suicidal enough to join this tournament only to get massacred, or that you are facing one of the strongest and rarest kinds of mages that exist in the world. You don't scare me, Stillwater. I'm going to fill you with holes and you'll end up begging me for mercy. I bet your legends are no more true than they were for this sad excuse for a mage standing next to me. Give him until the count of 10 to retreat. Imply that I'm the one who destroyed the city of Ulmnar. Well, since he's already scared to death, give him till the count of 10. Because if I destroyed the city, or if that's my race, and I shouldn't even hesitate to kill him. So implied that I'm the one who destroyed the city of Ulmnar. I think I'm going to go with that. That's funny, I tell him. That's almost the same thing the people of Ulmnar told me before I burned their city to the ground. That's rough. The mage was about to go for his knives, but now he stopped. He's looking at me quite intently, without averting his eyes for even a second. You're bluffing, the mage says. I guess there's only one way to find out then, I tell him, as I feel my heart pounding in my chest. A few seconds of silence that followed felt like the longest seconds of my life. After a long pause, the mage says, finally, you're in luck, Stillwater. I'm feeling merciful today. I'm going to be out of your hair just as soon as I finish this guy here. You do that and you'll regret it, I say without thinking. My last sentence seems to have taken him aback. What? Are you kidding me? You're going to defend this lowlife? If I have to. Do I have to? The mage's face contorts in a scowl, but he says nothing. He doesn't seem to want to push his luck any further. He reluctantly puts his daggers back in his belt and then spits on the ground next to Darren. I'll remember this, Stillwater. Don't think I won't. I never forget a face. You'll rue the day you messed with Cutthroat Dave. That's original. And same goes for you, Healer in Armor. I'll be seeing you both again soon. As he finishes his speech, he turns away in disgust as he heads into the woods of the opposite side of the clearing. Once I could no longer see the mage, I let out a big sigh. That was close. That was really close. I can still feel my heart beating rapidly in my chest. You do that and you'll regret it? What was I even thinking? Was I trying to get myself killed? This is a life and death tournament, Barry. This is not the time for you to start playing hero. As I try to calm myself down, the mage in armor sheaths his sword, picks up his shield from the ground, and starts walking towards me. You had no obligation to save me, he says, but you did so anyway, at the risk of your own life. I cannot let such selflessness go unrewarded. I, Darren, vow this day that I will offer you my protection from this moment and until the end of the tournament. Tell me, brave soul, what is your name? His speech took me by surprise. It's Barry. My name is Barry. Wait, your name's Barry? He tries to contain his laughter but fails miserably. He was trying to sound solemn and dignified just a few seconds ago, but it seems like it really didn't take him long to drop his act. Now that's the weirdest name for a mage I've ever heard in my life, especially for a Stillwater. Do you have something you want to tell me, Barry? Tell him I'm actually an ordinary human, or tell him my parents have a weird sense of humor. Well, it's probably best not to lie to him since I'm an actual human and he could probably kill me if he wanted. So I'm probably going to say I'm an ordinary human instead of my parents have a weird sense of humor. Which they probably do. You never know. I'm not a Stillwater, Darren. That thug just assumed I was and I took advantage of the situation. But you're not one of those locals either. Otherwise that spell of theirs would have alerted us the moment we sensed your presence. He is talking about the spell the organizers of the tournament cast on each of the participants before teleporting us here. We weren't allowed to hurt the humans that live on the continent, so their spell warns us when one of them is near. If what they said can be believed, their spell is supposed to stop us even before we try hurting any of the locals. If it's accidental, then it simply stops us before doing it. If it's intentional, it eliminates us from the tournament and sends us back. Their spell is supposed to act as a means of communication with the organizers. They said they'll transmit the objectives of each of us individually. It's funny, all those careful preparations on their side, and they never even bothered to check if I was a mage or not. What am I saying? They probably didn't even care. So you must be a participant then, Darren continues. What reason would you have to participate in a tournament against the most powerful mages in the world? I am after the same thing as every other participant in this tournament, Darren, but I'm not as sure how wise it would be to tell you this. I'm after the prize that's being offered to the winner, the Magium. Nobody knows exactly what it looks like or what it's made of, but everyone knows the fact that it is the source of all magic in the world, and that it can only be found on the continent of Varathia. All mages seek it, they crave it. They are certain that if they have access to it, they can increase their powers 100-fold and become living legends. And although it is a common misconception that the Magium is only useful for learned mages, my studies have led me to believe that the Magium is so extraordinary that it can even turn a normal human into a mage. I've searched very long for a way to get into Varathia, but the only way one could travel to their continent is by receiving a direct invitation. Very few of those are sent yearly, and the people being teleported are being held under direct supervision for the duration of their stay, and return with no information regarding the coordinates of this place. But when all hope seemed lost, the announcement came, a worldwide announcement by the King of Varathia, and they were organizing a tournament that every single mage in the world was invited, and the winner would be granted access to the Magium. I knew then that there would never be another chance like this. Why did you join this tournament, Barry? Darren asked me again. Tell him the truth. Tell him I was forced into it. Tell him I'm looking to cure my sick sister. That's random. See, he didn't even say anything about having a sister. So, let's tell him the truth, since we already didn't lie so far. I'm after the same thing you are, Darren. I tell him. I'm after the Magium. It's been my dream ever since I was little to become a mage, and the Magium can grant me that wish. Come on, Barry. You're going to have to make up a better lie than that if you want me to believe you. He stops and looks me straight in the eye. By the gods, you're being serious. Barry, I commend you on your bravery and determination, but you do realize you can't win this entire tournament just by bluffing, don't you? Of course I know that. That's not the only ace I have up my sleeve. But what about you? They say you're one of the strongest mages in the world, so how does one as strong as you get bested so easily by someone named Cutthroat Jave? Oh, that. He's sounding embarrassed. You see, Barry, I may be powerful, but that doesn't mean I don't have any weaknesses. It turns out one of the weaknesses is that I never really imagined to master the shield spell properly. The shield spell? The one that casts an invisible protective layer around yourself? But isn't that one of the first spells that any mage learns? It is, but it's not like I can't cast it at all. I can defend from magic just fine. It's normal weapons that I have a problem with. That's why I wear armor. This is why I use a sword and a shield. I first started using them because I couldn't use a shield spell properly, but then soon I started tailoring my magic around them. in my very fighting style. I found a master that would teach me to fight with weapons, and I used my magic to enchant them. Then, after every fight, I just use my white magic to heal my wounds like so. He demonstrates by raising his hands in the air and making a white light appear all around him. As the light shines, his wounds start closing, and the blood fades away. The cutthroat's knives had a life of their own, and there were many of them attacking me simultaneously. If I had a proper shield spell to defend against them, defeating him would have been like child's play. But defending against all those knives with the shield and sword alone would have been impossible regardless of my combat skills. All armors have their weaknesses. All he has to do is go for the armor's joints repeatedly until he wore me out. Why are you telling me all of this? Shouldn't you be at least a bit worried about revealing your greatest weakness to someone you just met? Hey, you just saved my life, so you can't be that bad, right? Pardon me for interrupting. I hear a woman's voice behind the trees. But would you by any chance be Darien, the legendary savior of the Eastern Continent? Next chapter. So, that was chapter 1. So far it's turned pretty good. Seen a little bit of action. And the choices have consequences, it seems. I don't know how severe they are, or I don't know if they'll kill you, or what's going to happen. But so far it seems pretty interesting. I'm probably not the most interesting person to listen to talk. But, yeah. This is chapter 2. I don't even know how many chapters is in this book, or if there's more than one. I have no idea. We'll probably find out at the end, but that's all I'm going to do for now. And thanks everybody for watching my video, and I'll see you all next time. See ya.